This is a milestone in the journey of independent India. We are celebrating 75th anniversary of our independence with the theme Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The progress and achievements of India in past 75 years are there for all to see. A pluralistic society and the largest democracy on earth, India has made tremendous strides in socio-economic development and in industrial, scientific and technological advances. Indian economy, the third largest in PPP terms, is well poised to become the growth engine of the world. In the post-COVID world, when economic recovery is major focus of all governments, Government of India's substantial efforts have led to India becoming the fastest growing major economy in the world today. In fact, the last financial year we have achieved the highest ever FDI, which is close to $84 billion. This is testimony to our aggressive push for economic and infrastructure development and business and investor friendly climate. India is also spearheading progressive movements in the area of renewable energy. At the moment, India is the fourth largest capacity of renewable energy in the world, thus playing key role in the global community on environment and climate change matters. I would like to highlight that in the 75 years journey of independent India, we have followed the principle of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, which is the world is one family. This was evident in India's leading role in global fight against COVID-19 pandemic, which is perhaps the most difficult health and economic challenge the world has seen in the recent times. With the top-class and highly competitive pharmaceutical industry, which is the third largest in the world by volume, and the world's largest vaccine production capacity, India provided vaccines, medicines, and medical assistance to over 150 countries across the world. Let me highlight that our bilateral trade has registered growth of about 55% in the year 21-22, which is the highest ever bilateral trade between the two countries. It is now at the level of $1.65 billion. Similarly, investments from both sides have also increased. Indian cumulative FDI in Bahrain has reached approximately $1.5 billion, increasing by more than 35% since 2019. I see our cooperation is set to intensify in coming days as India and Bahrain find themselves in a complementary position to benefit each other. I would like to particularly mention about the food sector. Given the traditional reliance of Gulf countries on India in the food sector, as well as the recent focus of Government of Bahrain in ensuring food security, this sector has emerged as a key area of our bilateral economic cooperation. We want to take our collaboration in this sector from trading to a strategic one. There are significant opportunities for investment in food parks in India, in ensuring continuous supply of food requirements of Bahrain through collaborative tie-ups between the two sides. And we have organized a large number of meetings between the private sectors in which the nodal Indian agency, Agriculture Processed Food Products Export Development Authority, also participated. And they discussed, among other things, there is a need to improve connectivity and logistics to further promote bilateral trade and collaboration in this sector. Indian community in the kingdom numbers around 350,000 and it comprises about a quarter of Bahrain's population. They play a significant role in the economic development of the kingdom. Our vibrant community in Bahrain plays an important role in promoting our bilateral ties and further strengthening the existing goodwill between our two countries. Indians are employed in almost all sectors of Bahraini economy. While a large chunk of them are blue-collar workers, many are CEOs, CFOs and professionals including chartered accountants, doctors, engineers, teachers and nurses. A number of Indian families own and run successful businesses. Bahrain is among the most preferred destinations for work, not only by Indian community but also by other expatriates. This is indicative of Kingdom's welcoming society, conducive economic environment and worker-friendly policies. As far as Indian workers are concerned, there is a transparent process of their recruitment in foreign countries. Government of India has created an e-migrate portal, which is an online portal who lists the required processes and documentation required for employment of Indian workers abroad. It also has the list of authorized Indian agents. Any foreign employer, including Bahraini employers, are required to register at this portal for recruitment of Indian workers. There are bilateral mechanisms between our two countries to ensure that agreed employment contracts are adhered to. Also, Government of India has fixed minimum wages for different categories of workers who go abroad for employment. Further, the embassy has a dedicated labor section which remains in constant touch with our workers. We work in close collaboration and receive excellent support from LMRA, Ministry of Labour and other concerned Bahraini government authorities regarding any issues which our community faces. In most of the camps I visited, I can say that I found workers happy and satisfied with the living conditions. I must mention here that Ministry of Labour, LMRA as well as other concerned Bahraini authorities have taken various measures for the welfare of workers and labourers. I also take this opportunity to convey gratitude to the leadership and government of Kingdom of Bahrain for ensuring the welfare of Indian community. I was astounded by the feeling of community within the camp and also the role played by the members of wider Indian community and Indian community organizations in camaraderie and lending a helping hand. I would particularly like to commend the work done by ICRF, which is functioning under the patronage of Indian Embassy in this regard. Indian education system has earned good reputation not only in Bahrain but around the world. The new education policy launched by Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi in 2021 has introduced further reforms in country's education system as per the contemporary times. The aim is to make India a global knowledge superpower. I am happy to share that more than 24,000 students are studying in 8 Indian CBSE schools in Bahrain. Majority of students are Indian, but there is a sizable number of Bahraini students as well as students from other nationalities. Just to give you a number, recent number, in 2019, just before pandemic, more than 100 students from Bahrain went to India to pursue higher studies. The trend got temporarily disrupted during the pandemic. However, I am happy to share that recently we are again seeing an increase in education visa to Bahraini students. In addition to this, I must say both sides are also taking several initiatives for furthering collaboration in this sector, including the cooperation between the universities and technical institutions, as well as exchange of students and youth of the two sides. Our collaboration in this sector, including the exchange of medical professionals, is not new. If I recall correctly, one Indian doctor named Dr. Bhandarkar visited Bahrain as early as 1925 and opened a clinic in Muharrak. In the recent times, if I speak, there are approximately 8,000 Indian professionals in Bahrain, including doctors, nurses and technical staff across all government and private hospitals. There is also significant Indian investment in healthcare sector in Bahrain. During the pandemic, as you may be aware, Indian healthcare workers rose to the challenge and worked shoulder to shoulder with their Bahraini counterparts to make Bahrain's fight against pandemic a success. Yoga is a gift of India to the mankind. As you may be aware, United Nations General Assembly in its session in December 2014 passed the resolution which was sponsored by India and record 175 co-sponsors to celebrate International Day of Yoga on 21st June. Since then, International Day of Yoga is being celebrated across the world, with great enthusiasm on this day. Over 4,000 people including Indian community, Bahraini community, as well as members of other nationalities, participated in the yoga events. We partnered with Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports and NHRA in celebration, for which I am really thankful to them. And what was truly inspiring and amazing was the participation of overwhelming number of children. In fact, in one of the yoga sessions, this was simultaneous yoga session on 21st June morning, where I think over 700 students from in 7 Indian schools conducted yoga sessions simultaneously. Let me begin by saying that the visionary leadership of our two countries have guided our relations through regular dialogues and bilateral visits. Even during the pandemic period, high-level interactions, bilateral visits and meetings of structural bilateral mechanisms continued. Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, held telephonic conversations with His Majesty the King as well as His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of Bahrain. Both our foreign ministers visited each other's countries. Minister of State for External Affairs of India as well as Under Secretary for Political Affairs, MOFA Bahrain, visited each other's countries. There were a lot of joint working group meetings in the important sectors of renewable energy, health, security and counter-terrorism. Bahrain joined International Solar Alliance at 86th member in March 2022. Both countries have achieved the record level of bilateral trade and investment. As India and Kingdom of Bahrain celebrate Golden Jubilee of establishment of diplomatic relations, I am confident that our bonds of friendship will be further strengthened and the multifaceted bilateral cooperation will scale newer heights.